Hello, welcome to I'm a nerd and welcome to my console.log vlog series again. First one for a while, vlogging on a balcony, the flat I live in. So this is more like the vlogging part of my channel, the rest of it being tutorials and articles. Anyway, let's dive into it. What's the subject for today's vlog? The subject for today's vlog is quite a personal one, so it might be difficult at times to talk about it actually. Basically, I'm going to talk about. So, I'm going to talk about mental health. We'll cover that subject, and we're going to talk about programming and how these two things relate, and then from my own personal experience. So, I've not seen actually any videos on the specific thing I'm going to talk about, which is having bipolar and being a web developer or a programmer. Never seen anything on this subject for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, because bipolar, it's not that common. It's like one in every 200 or 100 people, but it's common enough that you'd expect that someone would have done some videos on this. And I have seen some examples like of the broader subject of mental health, like Chris Sean did a video on depression, I think, and Real Tough Canada did some video about mental health, burnout, and burnout gets talked a lot about in the vlogosphere of development and programming, but I've never really seen anything specifically about bipolar, apart from maybe Acid Cam, I think, because he's got schizoaffective, I think, did a video on it and how his psychedelic experiences as well have sort of informed his project. But anyway, that's by the by. So yeah, in a nutshell, I have bipolar 1. If you don't know what bipolar 1 is, it's a mood disorder basically. It is a fluctuation in mood in extremes. There's two forms, bipolar 1 and bipolar 2. Bipolar 1 is got more serious manias and more fluctuating moods, I think. Bipolar 2 is more pronounced depression, on the depression side of things, with less severe manias. So I've got the first sort of, which is like classical manic depression basically. So if someone says manic depression or bipolar, they're the same thing as well. So what are the symptoms of this thing? We'll just go over them very quickly. So fluctuating moods, in the extreme end of the thing, psychosis, which is psychotic, basically delusional thinking, mania, hypermania, which is like grandiose thinking. A lot of it has to do with your mind speeding up as well. So your cognitive functioning will start speeding up, but not necessarily making sense. You'll start collecting lots of weird dots which don't really make any sense. So that's in a nutshell what it is. And also the other side of it, the flip side of that part, the mania, the high, is the lows, which is like depression. Lethargy, no energy, fatigued, staying in bed all the time, no energy and will to do anything. So you lose your will. When you're depressed, you basically lose your will to do anything, really. Sort of lose energy. It's very much an energetic condition, I'd say. So, I guess how has this affected my programming in the past, or my development, or my career? And again, it's very personal and honest, and it's not easy to write this video, but I've had mixed experiences really. So I wouldn't say there's much positive you can get from just having it. There's not much positive you can get from it. I mean, you can maybe say that you do get a lot of creativity for the disorder sometimes, but that's really debatable and arguable. And not everybody with the disorder really has that impression that the mania helps it. You might think it does when you're actually manic. When you're high, you might actually think you're benefiting creatively from it. The reality is, it's not really worth the price of the low end when you drop off that fluctuating mood chart. In terms of programming, you need to get everything really productive done. You have to focus on the problem, which requires concentration. Bipolar doesn't help with that if you're ill. I mean, obviously if you're medicated and everything's alright, it doesn't really help with that. So anyway, what's my personal experience of this thing been? So sometimes I've told employers about my condition, which it's been a mixed bag, that entire experience. Sometimes it just becomes the noose with which you hang yourself with, sorry, triggering language I guess and everything, but sometimes it can become a thing that you just I mean, I don't think I'd ever mention it during an interview. I don't want somebody to enforce someone's own prejudices by mentioning it during an interview, because people, a lot of the time, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Then the only time I mention it is if I was specifically asked. Because as long as you've got a good HR department, touch wood, not always a guarantee as well, then they should provide provisions for your condition. That's not always going to happen, and obviously the nature of the programming and web development being what it is, often sometimes you won't be working in a company with that sort of structure. You'll be working for a startup or freelance. Freelance is much more easy. I mean, I work freelance essentially now. I've worked two remote jobs freelance essentially. Well, not quite, but basically I work two remote jobs besides and freelance, and that's good for me personally, because I find I can just, it's flexible. It's a lot more flexi time when you're working remote and from home and working freelance. You've got to do the work, I mean, but you don't have to be up at like 7 o'clock in the morning necessarily, or 6 or whatever, to get to somewhere, which can be hard if you're taking medications, I found. So like, because basically for managing bipolar you have to take medications like lithium, Abilify, ibuprofen, all these sorts of medications. They can have a very sedative effect. So the first thing in the morning, it takes me about an hour or two to boot up properly. One way that I used to deal with it, which was really unhealthy when I had conventional office jobs, was just drink loads of coffee in the morning. And caffeine, I used to be notorious in one place I used to go to for just drinking these huge Monster Red Bull drinks and stuff, and then maybe have a coffee on top of that as well. But the thing is as well, it burns you out eventually doing that too much. It's a hard one. So anyway, I'm going to try and keep this relatively short. There's some reflections on the bipolarity and being a developer. So advice, probably tell your employer if you think you're in a decent position to. It's always a hard call to make, but do that, so they can make provisions in case you get ill. Think of what sort of job role you want, how develop a good relationship with your line manager, so you can be honest with them and say, look, I'm really struggling at the minute. That's good. Secondly, sleep, rest is important, so make sure you get enough sleep. That's really important, actually, getting enough sleep. Essential, try and get 8 or 9 hours if you can. I know sometimes it's not always possible, but just make it, and be willing to push back and say, unless there's, obviously I know sometimes there are deadlines, you've got to get something out by Monday, or you've got to push some feature or something, but at least make the argument, reasonable argument, that you need a weekend, or you need time off. It's just reasonable. In some ways I think you should just push back against that, really. If you've got some pushy project manager who's just saying you have to work over the weekend because you've got to do a crunch is necessary sometimes, but if it's becoming too much, be willing to push back a bit. You work, at the end of the day, even if you're programming or web developer or whatever, you're still a job. You still shouldn't be expected to go above and beyond just for your paycheck. So I'd say that is true, probably. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I mean, I could go a lot more into my own experience of bipolar. I might do it for everyone if anyone's interested. Like and subscribe if you like this. It's quite a new area to cover, I think, for development, so it'll be interesting to see how people react to it. There is, obviously bipolar could exist in web development career that they will choose sometimes, so I'm quite surprised there's not more videos out there about this, but it's not easy to talk about. I guess some people think that it will compromise their career potential. It's just like anything else. Just having diabetes affect your career potential. Just having epilepsy do it. Maybe it does. I mean, we live in a not fair world in a lot of ways, so it's best to be honest about it, I think. Disabled people exist, visible and invisible. It's time we acknowledge that, I think, in the community. I think we do acknowledge it, really, but anyway. Like, subscribe. Most of my videos are tutorials and things, and this is like my blog series stuff. Anyway. Hello, Nerd. Thanks for